What's up, y'all? I was just watching a video, an upload on the Your Black World channel. I believe that's the Boyce Watkins channel, if I'm not mistaken. And they were showing an interview that was done done with DMX. Everybody knows what's going on with that cat right now. Everybody's praying that he makes it through. We all know that DMX, he has those demons, the story is that he overdosed. And he's in the hospital right now, and they reported that his situation is getting worse. There's reports that saying that he's brain dead. So Your Black World, they uploaded this DMX interview where he was talking about how he got tricked into smoking crack. I'm not gonna go into the story that he told, but while he was telling the story, you could tell that, he was getting really emotional about it. It was breaking him up, It was done by somebody that he trusted. They tricked him into smoking crack. And all these years later, you have what you have with him in the hospital fighting for his life because he overdosed. Now, when I was watching this, I got to thinking about something that I saw years ago. I actually saw a guy get done pretty much the same way. He got tricked into smoking crack. Now, alright, the story goes like this. Me and my homeboys, this was like years ago, I was staying in this really rundown, just infested apartment complex. And I had homeboys from the hood that was staying in there too. We would hang out, we would chill on the steps. Sometimes we would play our little music, everybody be out there chilling, drinking, smoking a little weed, whatever. So one day, we noticed this guy that was moving into the apartment complex. And, he was cool. He moved in, and we would be chilling on the steps, and he would wind up coming in from work. Hey, fellas, how y'all doing? Blah, 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 this and that. He'd always speak, always had a smile on his face, real friendly. He'd go upstairs, take a shower or whatever, and then he'd come back down. He always had like this daily ritual where he'd come in from work, he'd go upstairs, he'd get cleaned up, and he would come back down and he would walk to the store, to grab some brews. And he always made it a point to ask us if we wanted something. Man, do y'all need anything? Man, I'm going to the store right now, blah, blah, blah. And it'd be like, oh man, we good, this and that. All right, fellas. And, he'd go to the store, buy him a six-pack, a pack of cigarettes or whatever. And he'd wind up, coming back. And he'd stand around and, hang out with us for a little while. He was a cool dude. Well, I had homeboys that was pumping dope, selling crack. And then there were some guys that stayed up in there. It was a few dope dealers that stayed in the apartment complex, okay? Now the thing is, he stayed upstairs from me. And on the second floor, like maybe 2 apartments down from his place, you know, the guy that I was talking about, um, it was this well-known dope fiend, this chick. And you know, she was the type, you know, she was a little bitty thing, you know what I'm saying? But her mouth was loud. I mean, you'd hear her talking before she even hit the corner. All right. Now, the story that I was told is that, you know, homeboy, you know, he liked to smoke weed too. So, it was a particular night that he came out there, and she happened to be hanging out. It was just them two. Nobody else was outside. And I guess she offered him, you know, some weed. She's out there smoking some weed or whatever. So she offered it to him. But the thing is, the joint was laced. The joint was laced with crack. So he winds up smoking with her. Now, it's funny because I would hear stories about people turning into dope fiends overnight. You know, they would take their first hit and boom, they're hooked. I heard stories like that, and that's basically what happened to this guy. He winds up smoking this weed with this dope fiend, and he was instantly hooked. And it was really sad looking at it because he was so ashamed about it that, remember when I told y'all how, you know, how happy-go-lucky he was and how he'd come through and speak to us and, hey, how y'all doing and this and that, just cool. Well, you know, word gets around. So after a couple of weeks, everybody in the apartment complex pretty much knew what went down. And he was ashamed. So it went from him coming in, you know, hey, how y'all doing, this and that, to the point where he just stopped speaking to us. And he couldn't even look at us in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? He walked right past us with his head down, just ashamed. And one of my homeboys, he was telling me that he was on the block one night, you know, slanging his dope, you know, making his money. And this guy comes walking up to him. He walked up to him to buy some crack off of him. And my homeboy told me that the dude gets the crack from him, and he's standing up there with him, and all of a sudden he just breaks down crying. And he's like, man, I don't know, man. I can't stop this shit, man. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. What's wrong with me? I'm talking about this guy, grown man, breaking down crying, man. You know what I'm saying? Pouring his guts out to my homeboy that just sold him the rock. And he's crying to him about how he can't stop and he don't know what's wrong with him. And I remember I was chilling one day outside, and there was a couple of guys, you know, down the way, they, you know what I'm saying, was slanging dope as well. I'm standing outside, and I didn't even know homeboy was home. I see his door open, so I look upstairs, and these guys that I was telling y'all about, they were selling the dope, they're walking out of his apartment with his furniture. He had just got through selling these guys his furniture, yo. And I'm looking like, damn. And they're walking out of his place, you know, carrying his stuff. And eventually he comes outside and he looks out the door. And he looks down and he sees me. just hangs his head down and closes the door behind him, yo. And I'm talking about by the time it was through, I'm talking about he had eyes. His eyes was like the size of baseballs. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about he just was just completely strung out. That was years ago. To this day, I don't know what happened to the guy. But it was sad to see, you know. And when I was watching this interview that DMX did, and he was talking about how he got tricked into smoking crack, and from that point on, he was hooked on it. It just made me think about this story, you know. And, you know, I heard that people say that, you know, them drugs, it's like they would just get you by the balls, you know. They just have you by the balls. You're hooked. I mean, it's you do anything and everything just to get that hit. And the story about people turning into to junkies and dope fiends overnight, man. Yo, that shit is true. I saw it happen myself. So, I don't know what happened to the guy. I mean, I hope he was able to break those chains. And I'm praying that DMX is able to pull through what he's going through right now, you know. It's just a really sad situation, man. Be careful out there, y'all. Be careful about the people that you're hanging around, the people that you're smoking behind, drinking behind, whatever you're doing. Be careful. Because people are snakes, you know. That's what DMX was saying. He was talking about this guy that got him hooked on dope. He tricked him into doing it. And he was a kid. He said he was 14 years old. At that time, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't smoking, drinking, or anything. And that particular night, homeboy basically put the joint in his hand, and he smoked it, and from that point on, he was hooked. And he's been battling those demons ever since. So, X, I hope you can pull through, man. Real sad story. Anyway, I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.